little bit about the really fascinating work that they do, I'm pleased to present the president of Afeka College of Engineering in Tel Aviv, Professor Ami Moyal.
Good evening. I would like to thank the Jerusalem Post team for organizing this important conference. I'm very happy to be here. I'll be talking about the vital role of engineers to Israel's future, and in a sense bring also the voice of the engineering students that have been called to army service. I'm very happy that the previous session talked about venture capital and investments. I will talk about the role of the academia in Israel to educate the human capital, the engineers that will work in the startups that will receive the investments. The world around us is changing. The job market is changing. We are facing exponential technological breakthroughs in various fields. I won't mention all of them: AI, robotics, quantum, and every aspect of our life are actually changing. We won't drive. Actually, one day it would be irresponsible to give us to drive cars because AI will do it better than us. We will print houses. Everything will change in an exponential rate. But the main domain that I want to talk about is the job market. The job market will be STEM-oriented: science, technology, engineering, math. We will need to educate R&D people, research and development people, to continue developing the technology, but the vast majority of the job market, of the occupations, would need to have technology orientation, and we need to reskill, upskill, and educate new workers for all occupations in the job market. I strongly believe that we need to add skills to the S and multidisciplinarity also, because there's not even one project that is working on one discipline. So if we take a look at the job market, many occupations will change, part of them will vanish, there will be many more new jobs. It's going to be STEM-oriented, as I mentioned, and the focus would move from knowledge, from the possibility to answer to questions, to skills: critical thinking, self-learning, multidisciplinary teamwork, and the capability to ask the right questions, the AI on the computer. If we take into consideration that 2/3 of the new pupils at primary school will work in jobs that we cannot even describe today, so the question on the table is, are we really preparing them to function in a modern society and in a dynamic job market? I guess that from my intonation, the answer is clear. In my opinion, it's no. We need to move from knowledge-based education on the whole educational continuum to competency-based education. Competency, I mean knowledge, skills, and ethics. And this is important for Israel's resilience. And in order not to stay at a theoretical level, I will describe very briefly a profound change that we have implemented in the last years in engineering education. We actually started by defining, these are small details, a few details about Afeka, just to understand the scope of the organization that has implemented the change. We are 3,500 students, several hundreds of faculty and staff members, 6 engineering schools, and we are very proud that we are reaching almost 10,000 graduates that are contributing $2 billion annually to the Israeli GDP. We started our journey by asking ourselves, what is the graduate profile of engineer that is completing his studies at Afeka? Scientific knowledge, engineering knowledge, a lot of arguments, what are the skills that are required from engineers in the high-tech industry, critical thinking, multidisciplinary teamwork, self-learning, and surprisingly, also effective communication skills. Engineering skills, languages, ethics, even before ChatGPT was released to the world, and broad knowledge. So we did something which is quite unique and not conventional in the academia. We started by defining the required output of the educational system. And to my belief, any education system should start by first defining the target and then changing the process. And then, in the last 5-6 years, we are implementing a profound change. We completely changed the curricula. We actually integrated the skills to be learning outcomes in the courses. And that, of course, dictated changing of pedagogy. Current students are not, or actually do not want to sit 8 hours in class and hear the professors. It's the past. They need to be active in teaching, in projects. So we changed pedagogy, updated curriculum, offered quite a large range of extracurricular activity, and completely renovated the physical campus, the physical layer of the campus. It looks like one large WeWork where students are studying everywhere. We built an ecosystem with the educational system and the industry, and what we actually achieved after a few years is we completely changed the culture of the organization. And then October 7 occurred. More than 40% of our students have been called to Army service, quite a disruption. 1,754 students out of the 3,000, almost 4,000 students with preparatory courses were called to Army service. They served 200,000 days in Army service. Almost 70% of them served more than 100 days, meaning they missed a full semester. 15% of them served more than 200 days, meaning actually they missed the full academic year. And we are still having these days almost 500 students serving in the Army. It is our duty and moral obligation to help them to complete their studies successfully and, if possible, on time. This is their personal and professional future. It is for the future of the high-tech industry. We are training 700 new engineers on a yearly basis, which is about 10% of new engineers entering the job market on a yearly basis. Imagine to yourself if only half of them wouldn't arrive to the job market on time. How would it influence their career, the high-tech, and the economy in Israel? So it's important to the economy itself, to society, and to the nation as a whole. It has a lot of aspects from personal to a national level. Israel's only resource is the human capital, and we must give the human capital the relevant educational process on the whole educational continuum, from kindergarten to the academia. The question on the table is, and I guess that everybody understands, is who is going to develop the next Iron Dome? Engineers are very important to Israel's prosperity, as mentioned earlier in previous discussions, to the high-tech, to the economy, to entrepreneurship, to investments. And we need to support the students to complete their studies on time. We have established an emergency fund in order to support the students, which include a lot of activities that we are doing in order to support them while they are in Army service or coming to vacations. We were very creative in trying to help them to complete their studies. Thank you for your attention.
אחי!